Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on Library or BitChute, the name of my channels on those two websites is Comic Freak. I have a couple of Star Wars articles I thought I'd look at today, so let's get into them and get right into what's happening. Star Wars Twitter celebrates gender inequality. Star Wars Twitter accounts saw fit to use the franchise as a way to celebrate International Women's Day. Here's a tweet from StarWars.UK. Happy International Women's Day. Today we celebrate the women from a galaxy far, far away. But this article does reach and brings up a good point. Where's the fact that basically if you look at the figures, the SJWs always preach about equality, but you'll notice one thing, that the figures say that International Men's Day, it basically doesn't have as much, favor or, enthusiasm for it from the SJWs as does International Women's Day. But here, read this and you'll learn what I mean. But when a cursory check with an advanced Twitter search reveals no tweets for International Men's Day in the month of November of the year 2019, even though International Men's Day is November 19th, why is there such a disproportionate disparity in gender equality from a company that routinely preaches gender equality? Yeah. Why don't they care about men? Why is it always men that get their asses handed to them? Why is it the SJWs preach about such things but don't actually give a damn about them? Much like they use minorities, they're just purse puppies. Politics. Just like they'll use their one black friend to say, oh, look how, good and, nice I am. They'll use something like, say, International Women's Day to basically promote their identity and gender ethics. But like it's been shown, men have a high suicide rate, but when it comes to that, do they care? Not at all. And now we come to the other article, but yeah, I'll say one more thing. They just don't care about men and just want to use the issues here just to promote their identity politics. So surprise, surprise, the SJWs just don't actually care about anything that doesn't actually go out and get hype on Twitter and stuff. So just right there, just shows how they actually are. And we come to the other story about Star Wars today. Daniel Joss Older has hissy fit over translation. Yeah, an author for the Star Wars group that is writing novels and the like for Disney. You know, the Star Wars story group. Well, his creation with a non-binary character in his novel is basically being criticized by different publishers in foreign countries, and he's basically throwing a hissy fit. So let's read this article and see what the SJWs are saying now. This is why the Chinese call American SJWs bizarros in the United States. Approximately 3% of the population identifies as non-binary, so all the political pandering takes place with regards to non-binary individuals. Isn't for the non-binary individuals themselves? No, the political pandering surrounding non-binary individuals is primarily for the predominantly straight French left who view the LGBTQ+ community as their pets and or mascots. So they invent silly pronouns for 63 genders, so the SJWs can pretend that they're offended when normal people can't remember even 5 of them. Yeah. And that's all it really is. This is all just political pandering, much like the freaking, love for International Women's Day, even though they don't give love to the men, even though the SJWs always preach about equality non-stop every day, and they attack anyone who, calls them out on it. We have this guy who's basically being called out for his non-binary character in the new Star Wars comic book, and it's hilarious. Let me say this to international publishers. Take Jamorsa was not the first, and I can promise you they will not be the last gender non-binary Star Wars character, so you would do well to figure out how to handle that correctly for translations. In the French version, Baron d'Honneur Tekka was masculinized against the translator's will. Well, screw you. Maybe we don't want to read something about a non-binary person, especially in other countries. People don't want to read about that. Mr. Daniel Josh, the writer of this book that no one apparently really wants to read at all, and because there's good reason not to read it, because it's just going to have a bunch of cucked characters in it that do nothing but probably spout identity politics to everyone who tries to get through the story. So it's no reason at all that they would probably cut out or alter this book so they could hopefully make a profit on it if they're publishers who actually realize what they'd actually be selling here to the people in France would realize. Because gender identity is exactly what fans of Star Wars want to read about, right? It's just another example of an opportunist author using the Star Wars brand name as a carrier wave to push his own political agenda, nothing more. Yep, right there, that pretty much exemplifies all of it. Exactly what happened with International Women's Day, with basically the SJWs using it as just another political tool and not caring about men or women really. And just like this non-binary character here being used by the author to basically promote his identity politics, who I bet probably doesn't really believe in any of this stuff really, even if he does, he's probably just an idiot. Because if you notice it, no matter how much these SJWs sprout their nonsense to the world, they really just don't actually care about it. They're just using it as basically purse puppy politics and using these minorities as someone they can, use as a weapon and bludgeon against their political enemies, and that's all they really care about. They actually care nothing for these people they endlessly talk about, and they just use them, as I just said, as a political weapon. That's why they'll attack women as well as people who are actual minorities when they basically say to the SJWs, stop protecting us. We don't need your protection. So stop speaking on our behalf when you're not actually speaking for us. So the SJWs will then attack the people they're supposedly trying to protect and say, these women, these minorities, basically have internalized misogyny and or racism, and that's why they basically speak out and say that the SJWs are wrong in protecting them in this manner. So the SJWs don't realize that they're actually or care at all that they're basically infantilizing the minorities they want to protect so badly. So they don't care that they're basically hurting the people they want to protect. All they care about is they can use it as a political weapon to go after their political enemies with, because that's all they really care about. They want to change things. They want to be progressives because they only see progressivism as something that is worthwhile as long as it's promoting and or doing something. They don't realize that they're basically hurting the people they want to protect, as I've said before. I stress that point. They don't care that they basically make them look like infants that need to be protected like they were just born yesterday. They don't care that they make minorities and women in general look like complete and utter fools, because they're being protected by these complete and utter fools that spout identity politics and the like in such a nonsense and idiotic manner that it would make anyone, not take anything like progressivism and SJW values seriously. Because all they can see are the SJWs spouting their nonsense idiotically, so why would anyone take it seriously? I mean, does anyone actually care about non-binary people anymore and actually take it as, anything that actually occurs in real life when they probably hear these SJWs speak endlessly about 63 different genders and then basically get attacked if, as the article says, when you can't remember any of them? Does anyone actually believe that non-binary people exist and not just think it's just something the SJWs made up just so they could go out and attack people? Because pretty much that's what I see it. I know when I hear SJWs and NPCs sprout their idiotic non-binary and or race nonsense, think to myself, all these people care about is race and gender, and that's all they see, the surface details, and that's all that's important to the SJWs, as others basically say. All they care about is that you're gay and or black and or a woman. They just see the surface details. They don't care that what you actually think and are matters at all. So if you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people. So make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. Then go over to Library and BitChute and subscribe to my channels on their two websites. They're both named Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video? Share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, and share it on Facebook. Share it anywhere you think it'll do the most good because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore. So please share this video. Now listen closely. It's that time of the day again. It's plug-in time. Keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.